All right, welcome back, everybody. I will be your host for this run. My name is Malieve, pronouns they, she, and we are going to be having an exciting little while because we are going to be. The Phantomire is going to be running Gunstar Heroes for us. Just a quick reminder before we get things started that we do have two pretty exciting incentives coming up that we would love to see be reached. Uh, we've got Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is currently at $15, and we need some support in getting to that $100 incentive to get the Immortal Severance ending. And also, if you want to see more gaming, more coolness, we also have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. That is a bonus run that will be happening after Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and we are still a whiles away from that. I would love to see this happen. It's such a cool game. Please, please donate. There's some great incentives. There's some cool rewards that you can get for donating. Uh, and you'd also get rewarded with a magnificent game. With that all said and done, Phantom, if you would like to take it away.
Sounds good. Well, I'll jump right into the run. Time actually is one of those things where it actually starts immediately for whatever reason. So people who are familiar with this run are going to notice that this is an immediate deviation from the way that we would typically run the game. Big reason is that the Dice Forges is like the reset point of this run, but because we can't reset, it's a marathon, we're going to be doing this in a slightly different order, and it's also giving me the chance to be able to get... my big thing is I want to be able to get the flame weapon as well as the homing weapon. That combination is just incredible, so it's just giving us more chances to be able to get that, but since randomness is a huge part of this run, we don't really get a choice in the matter, so we'll just hope by the time I get there that we actually get it. But, you know, it's marathon luck, so we'll see what happens.
I'm giving you all of my luck. All of it. I don't have much, but I'm giving you all of it.
Any of it counts. I will take precious crumbs of luck.
Hang on, let me check under my couch.
So that part's actually surprisingly difficult because you can actually kick off and bounce off of each of those platforms. So you can kick backwards, which is just awful. That was actually a pretty nice kill. So this run you get to see the power of the kicking and stuff like that. Not nearly as much as what Moon did in Superheroes, but it's still pretty darn impressive what you can do. This part, we're just not going to do anything. I'm just going to chill off screen. Eventually I'll launch off as soon as it is that all the enemies clear and I know that it's safe to go. And hopefully down here we're going to be getting our homing weapon. Like, hopefully. Please. Pretty please. Precious crumbs of luck come my way. Luckily it's not like as essential until we get later in the run. Oh, again, still no luck. Okay, get out of my way, please. Thank you. Okay. Everything's deciding to be mean today. You're going to see me at a point where I'm going to be shooting during the text because it actually speeds things up. But you can't open with like a buffer. You have to do it once the text starts scrolling. So we're just going to slide into that boss. Zero threat whatsoever. Then we're just gonna chill. We gotta collect these gems, and that's the big thing before we go to the final stage here. And you can tell that this game is very treasury and explodey and everything like that, which is very much them. And
big energy.
Yeah, big time. So auto-scrollers, they love them. They love them so much, so we're gonna embrace them. You don't actually have to do anything on this part. Sometimes I do shoot stuff, but for now we'll just chill out here and let them do whatever they're trying to do, which is not particularly successful. And
I think it's a dance routine.
Yeah, exactly. We have like a little Cirque du Soleil kind of thing going on here. Please, no! Why? Why? Give me my homing weapon, please. No, it's taunting me. It's the same weapon taunting me over and over. Oh
So
my.
what other kind of weapon abilities are there, and why do you avoid those ones?
None of them are particularly useful to me. There's a bunch of different types of combinations. Like, take for example, if you get like the homing and the laser, then it'll be like this little like almost like this weird little lizard. Like it almost looks like the snakes from like Battletoads. It kind of like weaves and winds around and everything like that. You can get increased double flames. You can get a further reaching flame. Like that's the one that I was just avoiding, was just making it a further reaching flame. Which does have its uses, but the thing is that I really want the homing one, and switching, you have to select what weapon to get rid of when you're picking up a weapon, and the thing is I always mess it up, so I don't like to take chances on it, because when you're grinding the game, and you're trying to fight RNG and everything like that, it's an instant reset point if you don't get your ideal weapon. And you would also reset on bad RNG on the first stage, so like you're always set up with that weapon, so there's really no reason to ever like get used to weapon swaps, which is kind of an unusual thing. So that's why like during the marathons I always don't chance it, because the strength of the weapons is not particularly useful until we get to the final stage, if I don't get it by the final stage, like the post, I guess we'll call them robo stages, kind of like in Mega Man, but these post 4 stages, then I'll just pick up whatever just for the extra bit of strength. But for now it's not mandatory for me to be able to get all of the quick kills that I need.
Okay. The power, quote-unquote power buster, is very effective for the most part still.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like you're not underpowered in a respect where it's like it's a detriment. I'm still able to do some pretty substantial damage. Okay, so now we're gonna hope for the best here. 7 Force again. Okay, so this is the start that you're gonna just see here. This is, I think, always the same. I can't remember if there are other patterns that you can open up with, but you'll just be chilling, taking some damage here, no big deal.
Not really doing much.
Didn't want to see this. This is just awful. Why? Just got a ton of health, and it's just very annoying to deal with.
Oh.
Please go away. Okay.
Oh, and iframes as well. We're going off the screen.
Oh, this is the next. This is the worst one. Oh, geez.
Game, please.
Please. I want just a speck of RNG to work in my favor. Oh. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I didn't like any of that. And we're playing in easy mode, and the crab is actually something that I'm only used to seeing in hard mode. Like, I never see it in easy mode, so of course, now that we're in a marathon, we see the crab, which is just awful. It's a pretty low percentage thing to happen in all my time of grinding this game. I don't think I've ever actually gotten it in easy mode.
Wow, you're so lucky.
I am.
Wow.
So let's see what happens when we get to Dice Palace. I'm really hoping. The previous marathon that I ran this in, I had to do the entire Dice Palace twice because of how bad the rolls were. So, you know, given how I've started in this run, I fully anticipate doing that, and that's why the estimate is generous as it is. Because clearly, the game does not like me today. But that's okay. It's one of those things where it's more of a time loss than it is like a safety concern. The crab, obviously, my health was tight, but I was still like pretty safe there. Okay, so I think we got on the platform that... Nope, not the platform I wanted. Okay, so now we're gonna try and get on. There we go. Now we're where we wanted. Because usually if the screen's scrolling and I'm not having to do anything, it means that I've actually gotten to the platform where I want to, but I was under it. Which is, in fact, a thing. So we don't get a chance to get the weapon here, I don't think. So I think we're going to have to rely on Dice Palace to make it happen. To make the dream work. And if it doesn't happen there, then exactly like Cyber Tales is saying, the marathon luck. And then we'll just deal with it from there, which I really, really terribly don't want to do.
Yeah.
But I don't really have a choice.
Decisions are illegal.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of got to finish it, not resetting.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we do have a moment, I actually have a donation here.
Yes, you do have a moment.
From Jasu55. My apologies if I butchered that. Good luck, Phantomire. Put this towards Shredder's Revenge, and that is a $10 donation.
Nice.
Thank you very much, love.
Let's get
Brings
that
us closer.
that TMNT in.
Yeah.
It's an incredible run, so it'd be awesome to see that.
It is such a cool run. It's such a cool game too.
Yeah, you can tell that like when they made that, they put a ton of love into that. And then I believe that there's another incentive that needs to be met as well. It should be a perfect time to bring it up if you have a moment to do so.
I definitely can, but I would also like to bring up another donation that came in from the Shredder. I will have my revenge. Put my donation towards my revenge.
Nice.
Thank you very much, Mr. the Shredder, sir. Here's hoping that you will get your revenge on the turtles, or maybe not. We'll see. But yes, on top of that, we do have the incentive where we are currently working towards Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and we are looking for that Immortal Severance ending. That one we're about $85 away. If anybody wants to put, I don't know, an 80. If anybody wants to put $85 towards that, or a few people want to, it would be very cool.
I got a little bit excited there. I didn't know that, I could
really
make
hectic.
it on the back out on that platform because I haven't had to do that. And and I got it twice. Okay, so we would have been totally fine. But finally getting that after all this time
Yay!
feels pretty amazing.
I saw the needle on the flame, and I'm like, wait, did you get it?
Okay, so let's see what rolls we get. Okay, really good start. That's exactly what we want. And the thing is if I didn't get it in the other spots, this is where I would have actually gotten the spare homing. So the RNG is finally turning in my direction. And I realize now that I've said that, I'm totally going to get royally buggered up here. But that's just the way it goes.
Oh no, dice! I'm a huge fan of dice in my casual gaming, but if I see one in a speed run, I immediately am in fear.
Yes, there's definitely, like, understandable, very, very warranted fear in this run with dice. Okay, that actually wasn't too bad. So we'll see what happens. A lot can go wrong with this, so I'm hoping that maybe the die will roll in our favor. You see me going at a diagonal. It saves a slight bit of time over doing any sort of slam or anything like that. We saw this boss in Gunstar Superheroes, and you also see it in Alien Soldier as well. Treasure really likes reusing stuff, but in a way where I feel like it's more of like a little tribute and homage and nods here and there, rather than like we don't have any ideas. So Treasure games are always just top quality.
And if you've got a cool idea, why not reuse it? Like,
Yeah, 100%.
game development is hard work, and if you can make your life a little bit easier by showing off a thing you're really proud of,
Yeah,
do it.
absolutely. So you're starting to see the power of this homing weapon. Like, I have to control it. That's why I use the fixed stance, because then I'm able to stick in a particular position and then just plant this wherever it is that I want. So it's pretty darn handy. So that boss becomes like zero threat at that point in time.
You couldn't move.
Okay, so big thing is don't roll a 2, please. Of course I rolled a 2. But we had plenty of health this time. I've gone into this with super low health, and it becomes a very scary fight. I can play it a little bit more aggressively. The reason that you don't want this is because you have to melee this, and he is just very, very annoying. Because there's a ton of iframes, and you don't do much damage to it, so you kind of have to do this like alternating thing, and just you're kind of stuck. It's just annoying. Again, this is one of those things where it's like you only see it in marathons, because if you ever see this in a run, you've already reset.
Yeah. I love how he looks.
Yeah, it's a really cool boss design. I love it. It's just speed-wise, you never want to see it. There's actually a ROM hack of this game that you roll all ones in the Dice Palace, so that it kind of like levels the playing field in a sense, so that it becomes just purely about the run rather than the randomness of it, which I think is really neat. But at the same time, there's something kind of fun about the randomness sometimes too, and adjusting to the chaos. So do a little bit of wiggling and not have to worry about this too much.
Wiggling with them.
There are going to be certain Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask about your power-ups were flashing a little bit ago, and I was wondering about that.
Oh, so what happens is the power-ups, like when you are switching between them, it will, like, you can select whether it is that you have one or two of them active at the same time, so you can just have the fire, just have the homing, or have them both on. And in most instances, there will be both. Okay, that was actually really good. You'll generally have both on, but there are going to be instances where I just will have one. So that actually was okay. We didn't have to re-roll, and the RNG was actually pretty tight, so I'm okay with that.
Yay!
Okay, so since I have the help, let's see if we can... Oh, crud. Okay. Nope, now we're doing backup strats, whatever. You're supposed to actually be kicking this boss, but when you don't, as soon as it is that you don't line it up, trying to realign it up, and it's just not worth it. So let's not.
He's just that big of a body that the kick burns through his health.
Yeah, the kick does a fair amount of damage here. So we have to shoot him for a while, and the first one is like a trick gem. So let's throw the real one. The first time when I blind played this game, I actually did wind up dying to his fake gem. I was very, very soul crushed.
That would make me so salty.
Yeah, I was very salty at the time. So this is actually like one of the longer stages in the game, but it's one that's like really engaging at the same time. The shmup is actually the longest stage, and it's like it's one of those things that announcements and things to talk about are really good, but this one, there's actually a lot that goes on. One of the big things that I'm going to be doing here is actually paying attention to health, which I haven't been doing in any of the other stages. And the reason is that the last stretch there can be really, really relentless, and can mess with your health quite a bit, and it's easy to get hit by some very, very tanky things. Like, the jump kick is the fastest way to go, and there's going to be an instance where we're going to be avoiding a lot of enemies using the jump kick, but on top of that, We do it because we want to be able to line up and take out these like big, I guess, AT-AT kind of things. But the problem with it is that if you don't line it up, then it's really, really rough to recover that. So did a little clip there. So I really don't want to go through and destroy all those boxes. Takes too long. So let's avoid it. Nice. Whoa! That was almost not nice. Okay. So let's see. I think we're in a good spot here. Oh no, they ruined it. Okay. So generally if you kick the first one, that means that you're in a good spot. So long as I don't get thrown along the way, then I should be in the sweet spot here. Okay, that was very odd. I haven't had that happen before, but that's, you know, that's the marathon for you. Okay, so the next one I'm actually going to take it a little bit safer because these things are being jerks. Oh no, never mind. There's a very realistic chance that I die here. So we'll see what happens.
I'm giving you my energy.
I really do not want to redo this stage, so we're going to be taking out M. Bison now. And I'm hoping that when I did that, I got rid of his iframes. Oh no! Because when he gets... Oh no, I didn't. Oh crud! Okay, so this is actually pretty bad. I'm gonna go into like focus mode here and really hope for the best. Stop! No! No! So anything can kill me at this point, so I really hate this. Ah! Okay, so we're gonna be redoing this stage, and this is what estimates are for. Oh, that was awful. Please give me another homing weapon. So that was... I was just showing you what could go wrong so that there was more time to get donations in so that you can get that TMNT. This is throwing for content right
here. Yeah. all part of the plan. It was calculated.
Okay, so we're going to get more health and we're going to be a little bit more careful with that. That was a lot of bad things all at once, and very unusual. It does happen. There's, like, again, there's a reason that there's estimates and it's a very scary run. This is really the only stretch that's, like, super scary. Oh, thank you. Less thank you? Don't do that. Them tossing you is really hard to avoid, and you can see that it does 20 damage very easily, so please stop it.
Fortunately, there's a bit of health that drops.
Yeah, there is health along the way. Help is here. Okay, so we're still gonna do that little clip there. Okay, quit being rude, please. All of you. So one of the things that you can do against Bison, like you see me doing it here a couple of the times, is doing this like charge attack. It's a hidden move that they don't actually explain in the game, but is like super useful, where you do sort of like what's that, would be a Shoryuken movement, and then after the Shoryuken movement you do like your shot, and then you can like shoulder charge into things. It does some fairly substantial damage. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna take this a little bit safer because obviously things were not working in my favor there, so let's balance that out. Oop. Not too bad. Okay, so now we have a lot more health and we should be fine. But who knows? Thanks for the good luck. Okay. So we're going to match through the text again. We're going to toss them. And then hope that we've gotten rid of iframes, because as soon as it is that we do... Okay, he doesn't have any iframes right now, which is really, really good. Okay. Hopefully we maintain that, because then this makes this... He just melts at that point. Ah, didn't maintain it. We don't really know why it does that, but at least we did it in the first form. So long as it is that I stay here at this point, then it should be fine. He wasn't in the right position the previous time, so that's why I was kind of flailing about and going into full panic mode. There we go. But because we got good Dice Palace RNG and some of the other stuff went really well, we should be still in a pretty comfortable position to be able to finish under estimate. So this is going to be playing the little cutscene here. I like that they add comedy into this. The next little upcoming part always makes me smile here. And then the next stage is the big auto scroller, which there are some things that we can optimize just a tiny bit, but for the most part it's kind of a fixed thing. And I'm really, really hoping that the big thing that can be a variance in this stage is the final boss of the level. Can just throw anything at you, so let's just hope that it doesn't. This time we got our little tiny friends there helping us out, getting rid of Bison. Okay, so now we scroll through some text and then big auto scroller. So if you have announcements or if you want to chat,
I could definitely do a few things. So if I start with utilizing the power of my voice to make words happen, we can talk about how Slurpathon is raising money for Extra Life, which raises funds for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Proceeds go to the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation. Last year, Slurpathon raised $6,681 for Extra Life. Extra Life brings thousands of gamers around the world play games in support of their local Children's Miracle Network hospital. Since its inception in 2008, Extra Life has raised over $70 million for sick and injured kids. Funds raised go to the Alberta Children's Hospital as unrestricted funds. This means the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars raised make the biggest impact possible. We still have some incentives that haven't been met yet. Let's see, we still got Shredder's Revenge. We're really close to that one now. We just need $90. If anybody wants to help make sure that dream becomes a reality, it's just a stone's throw away. I mean, $100 is not a stone's throw away, but we're getting close to that. And then we're also, we're also still making progress towards the Immortal Severance ending of Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. We are looking to reach $100 there. Any and all donations can and will be greatly appreciated. I love how this game looks. There's so many fun designs. Like so much of this looks like, some of the styles look cheesy. Granted, it makes sense because they're trying to be detailed in a game that has lower pixelization. But then there's so many things that they just nail.
Yeah, Treasure has always been really good about just having like a slight bit of like goofiness and chaos in it, but everything is like, they've always been immensely detailed, especially like when you look at some of their like later titles. It's amazing how much they put into the games. My favorite example of that is definitely Alien Soldier. Like, for those who aren't familiar with that game, like, it's just absolutely stunning and has this like unbelievably chaotic soundtrack and everything about it is just like pure chaos, because it's this boss rush mode kind of game, and it's just brutally difficult, and it's just the adventures of this space bird, and it's just incredible. But then there's also things like this where it's like, when you think about this in comparison to most run and guns, like it's so explodey and all over the place. Like it's mixing all sorts of different genres. Like you've never played a shoot 'em up section in a Contra game, for example. Like I love all the places that it winds up going in.
It's also got some it has some fun concepts with like abilities too. Like I real like the idea of being able to grab two different abilities and them combining into another unique ability. Like I've speedrun Kirby 64 and it has a similar mechanic to it, and it's like that is such a fun thing to be able to play with.
Oh,
especially when you get results like these flings.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many cool things that you can do, and even like you can double up like the homing weapon to get like super homing. It's pretty weak, but when you're, especially if you're somebody who's like less adept at shoot 'em ups and running guns and that type of stuff, it's like it's a really nice way to be able to get through the game in a lot more like comfortable a manner. So like I like that there's flexibility where it's like, hey, if you want to risk it a little bit more and play more aggressively, you can go with this combination, but if you want to do this, like they were always big on like variety in their games, which is like super cool. I always love that, especially in a speed game where like if it's someone that you're like, you know what, I want to play this game but I don't want to like grind it too hard, like you have options.
It was Kirby 64 before Kirby 64. You know, that's a really good selling point for me.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Something I really like about that kind of flexibility too is it's a really subtle form of like difficulty tuning without having a direct meter.
Yeah.
Because like certain things like the combination you have here, or like there's probably a combination that is even more difficult but more rewarding in damage, but it's like it is super risky and difficult to play with. Where this has a nice balance where you can get that damage and you're not putting yourself at immense risk.
Yeah, exactly.
But then, like, if you're a newer player that is looking for something that allows them to focus on not dying, they can go for the double homing, and that pretty much ensures that they can just focus on living.
Okay.
More games need to be doing that kind of stuff, because as cool as meters are, having like creative ways that make people not realize that they're changing the difficulty of the game.
Yeah, I've always appreciated that kind of thing. It always makes things more interesting to be more adaptive like that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of like different types of run and guns kind of have that built in like inherently. Okay. I really wish that shot cleared the screen a little bit earlier. Okay. That was pretty awful RNG, but it wasn't dangerous RNG. That boss can go into, like, especially like the bird mode and stuff like that, where it's pretty awful to have to deal with, because you can't really do too much damage to it, and it can do a lot of damage to you, so it's like, it's not a great combination, so you're just sort of wasting time avoiding it. Okay. Yeah, the 7 Force is finally down. This is another boss where we're going to be doing this the safe way. So there's a quick kill that you can set up where you're doing different types of kicks, but if you mess it up, it just wastes so much time. So I'd rather not risk it. We're not risking it for that biscuit.
No, you've got Dancy Snake Flame anyways, and it's fun to show off.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta show off more of the game because it's just chaos. Like this is another example of it, because you set up with like a big left side kick, and again it can do some pretty substantial damage, but being able to set that up and not lose time is rough.
Oh yeah, I think I could see where the moment was where you're supposed to do that kick, because it does set itself really hard into the left.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, Vector Man.
It's our favorite. Look at him go!
Okay. So there we go. Not too bad.
so helpful of him to tackle the core reactor.
Yeah. You know, Vector Man was really looking out for us there.
Yeah. He was just saying hi.
So for those who are familiar with Shovel Knight, I'm pretty sure Shovel Knight drew its boss rush mode and the viewing mode from this game. It'd be kind of hard to think otherwise when you see this. I absolutely love this.
It's so fun.
Like, I love that you actually get to see them individually, like, come out and kind of have their reactions to you fighting them all. What I appreciate about this run and both Gunstar Hero games is that even though you're doing refights, it's not like, say, Mega Man where it's just like the same fights, but you're just doing them all at once. It's the same people, but the fights are actually different, which I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
So they have different types of attacks and patterns and all that sort of thing. Oh, no, that was bad. That's okay. Oh. Okay. So the big thing is to actually do tiny hops there. Okay. Now we got our pink lobster. Kind of reminds me Kirby Superstar with the lobster that you fight on the ship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the heavy lobster.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what we want to see, because we can just take out the bubbles and then be completely safe from their attacks.
Yeah.
Oh, that was not the spot I wanted to be at, but that's okay. I am gonna get this health just for a little bit of safety, because the health drops actually do pick up in terms of their, like, how useful they are. They give us a lot more health where they were giving us like 10 and 15 before.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try and stun lock this guy for as long as possible. Eventually, like, no matter what, he will come to us, and then we just have to sort of adapt to whatever it is that we're given. Oh, that's bad.
Just explosive rainbows.
Okay, calm down here. Whoa, stop it. Oh, nice health.
Nice.
Oh, less nice health. Oh, get out of here. What are you doing? Okay, he was being very rude there. So setting up for... Yeah, this is going to be interesting then. Black typically isn't too bad, so hopefully we don't have too bad a time here. The last one, green, thankfully isn't too bad to fight. We're gonna do this the safer way. There's a kicking strat that you can set up there that like, you don't have to do this part of the fight, but to set that up, if you miss it, you waste just a massive amount of time because you bounce off of black and do 0 damage. So I'd rather get the sure thing and then take very little damage instead. And then we're hoping to be able to set up for the quick kill. So I'll explain the differences once I get there, because regardless of what happens, it's going to take a while. So, did we set it up properly? Okay, we did. So the two differences between these is, if you don't set it up properly, you can still stun lock green, but the problem is, then in between each of the shots, he has longer iframes, and then he starts throwing shurikens and stuff like that at you. Like, you still stun lock him in this corner, but the problem is that it takes really long for him to shoot his projectiles. If we set it up that way, off of the initial part, then it just stun locks him, so he just hangs out and can't attack, because he hasn't reached a certain point on the stage to be able to worry about that. So thankfully we got that. Saves a ton of time. His plan for world domination sort of backfired. Gems are too much power. We're going to collect some health here and then hope for the best for the good pattern. I have absolutely no say in this. It's not so much the second form, it's this first form where it's just, like, awful. So let's see what we get once our robot friend comes out. So let's see what you're gonna give us, buddy. The big thing is that we're hoping to be able to. He's not doing anything. Okay, well that's that. Okay, that was odd. So he should have actually done something, but we wanted that sort of like spaced out attack that he did as our first attack, and then we just sort of hope that he keeps doing that because it completely we completely avoid damage, but for some reason he just stood there, which I've never seen before.
he had a bit of stage fright for the marathon.
Yeah, had the marathon nerves. We all get them. Didn't expect the game to get them, but there we go. We've beat Gunstar Heroes.
Yay!
Well, there we go. Still underestimate despite whatever the that stage that shall not be talked about did to us. So thank you so much for having me on again for my third and final run of the marathon. It was an absolute blast and pleasure as always, and I'm glad that we got to chat a bit during it. I always like meeting new people, and it's always a pleasure to join this, especially given what it is that we're raising funds for. It's always such a pleasure to be a part of because it's such an incredible cause.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be a part of this. It's fun to help raise money for a good cause. And yeah, thank you for running these fantastic games. This was an absolute delight to watch. Thank you to everybody who's donated up to this point. And this will be, I'm going to be stepping away for a little bit. We do have somebody else who will be coming in to do commentary, so look forward to that. Coming up next, we are going to be seeing Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, that any percent run. Don't forget, we do have a couple of incentives. Definitely check them out. We're still trying to get that bonus game for TMNT. And if we can somehow get that money for Sekiro to get that ending before the cutoff happens, that would be phenomenal. But yeah, stay tuned. Thank you all so much for watching.